It began with what looked like just another routine stop, something so common it barely registered on the city's radar. The lights in the rearview mirror. The slow sigh of an exhausted man pulling his truck to the curb. No shouting. No speeding. No chaos. Just silence. Broken only by the hum of an engine and the knowledge that he'd been here before. Jordan Miller kept his hands at 10 and 2. That's what his father had taught him. And it's what he taught his own nephew before sending him off to college last fall. Obedience was never about guilt, it was about survival. The truck beat up. Loyal old Ford with rust along the fenders groaned slightly as it idled. In the side mirror, he saw two officers walking toward him. Both white. One older. His gait casual, like he expected the world to submit. The younger officer walked like a man still learning how to be feared. Jordan didn't move. His registration was in the glove box. But he knew better than to reach. The older cop, badge glinting under the street lamp, tapped the window. Jordan rolled it down. "Evening," he said. His voice calm and even. The officer didn't answer the greeting. His eyes flicked over Jordan, then dropped to the truck like it insulted his sense of order. "What are you doing in this neighborhood?" Jordan replied, still calm. "Driving to my mother's. She lives 2 blocks down." "Your mother lives here?" The cop's smirk didn't mask his disbelief. "Yes." Jordan nodded. The younger officer hovered behind, fingers twitching near his taser. "I need your license and registration." The older one said. "License is in my back pocket." Jordan said. "Registration's in the glove box. May I reach for them?" There was a pause. The older officer frowned. Jordan waited, deliberate and still. Finally, he got a grunt of approval. Slowly, carefully, Jordan retrieved the documents and handed them over. The cop stared at the license. Jordan Miller. He looked up. "What do you do for a living?" "Mr. Miller?" Jordan's response was clipped, but polite. "I run a tech consultancy." The cop snorted. "Tech? You?" Jordan didn't respond. He didn't have to. That sound, the disbelief, it was familiar. The assumption that a black man in an old truck couldn't possibly be successful, or clean, or worthy of anything more than suspicion. "You carrying anything we should know about?" "No." "Step out of the vehicle." Jordan blinked. "Excuse me?" "Out. Now." The younger officer shifted, unsure, but he said nothing. Jordan stepped out slowly. Hands visible. Posture relaxed. The older officer circled the truck. "Mind if we search it?" "I do mind. Unless you have probable cause or a warrant." The smile faded. "Refusing a search?" "Exercising my rights." The younger officer's eyes flicked between the two men. Tension rising. "Put your hands on the hood." Jordan stood still. "Officer, I've complied." "You have no." "On the hood." The older man grabbed Jordan's arm and shoved him. The metal was cold. Jordan said nothing as the pat-down began. "Are you sure this is the path you want to take?" he asked quietly. The cop paused, but pride was louder than reason. "I don't take advice from criminals." "I'm not a criminal," Jordan said. "But you may want to call your supervisor before this gets worse." "Is that a threat?" "No. That's a courtesy." A crackle on the radio interrupted. The dispatcher's voice pierced the silence. "Unit 22. Supervisor requesting status on Jordan Miller. Immediate response required." The older cop narrowed his eyes. The younger one answered. "Subject detained for vehicle check. No issues so far." A pause. "Release him immediately. Subject is cleared. Do not engage. Supervisor en route." A black SUV pulled up less than 30 seconds later. From it stepped a woman in federal attire, badge visible. Demeanor sharp. "Officers," she said. "This stop is over. Hand him his documents and step away." The older officer stammered. "Who?" "Department of Homeland Security," she said. "Mr. Miller is a federal contractor currently assisting with a classified investigation. You've made a serious mistake." Jordan took his license, nodded to her, and walked back to his truck without another word. The officers stood frozen. That night, Jordan sat at his kitchen table, a mug of black coffee beside a stack of reports. His laptop screen glowed with data complaints, stop statistics, body cam review tags. His software had been tracking for months. He built it to find patterns. It had black drivers, twice as many stops, unlawful searches, civil asset seizures, and two names appeared again and again. Sergeant Matthew Kerr and Officer Brandon Ellis, the same two who pulled him over. But the rot didn't stop there. The money from those seizures supposedly going toward training and community initiatives was being funneled into shadow nonprofits. Budget lines that disappeared into private accounts. His software had traced the flow to something labeled Operation Sentinel. Jordan clicked it open. The folder held spreadsheets, memos, meeting notes, a systemic abuse operation. He was contracted by the federal government to uncover corruption in local law enforcement. But he just walked into the center of it. His own stop wasn't just injustice, it was validation. He texted Agent Clark, confirmed. It's real. They're escalating. I'm a target. She replied instantly, you're not alone. But be careful. We push too fast. They'll bury us. Across town, Sergeant Kerr stared at a report on his desk. Officer Ellis sat silently. He knew something. Kerr muttered. He was baiting us. Ellis nodded. He said to call a supervisor. Knew exactly what to say. Who does that? A man with power. Kerr growled. We screwed up. Ellis whispered. What now? We turn it on him. The next day, Jordan returned to his company's small office suite. Inside, his team waited 3 hand-picked professionals, Marcy, encryption expert, Theo, data forensics, Danny, legal strategist. They'd seen the body cam footage already. They'd seen the escalation. We're not on defense anymore. Jordan told them. We bait them. You want them to try again? Theo asked. No. Jordan said. I want them to do what they always do, overreach. But this time, we catch them. That night, he visited his mother. She smelled of rosemary and the past. You look like your father when he was about to do something reckless. She said. Jordan kissed her forehead. Not reckless. Necessary. Be careful. Son. I will. But back at the station, Kerr was already planting seeds, leaking stories, contacting a tabloid reporter, suggesting that Jordan was not what he claimed. Civil lawsuits, tax audits, misconduct, all fabricated. The article dropped. Federal tech contractor under scrutiny. Baseless. Poorly written. But it didn't matter. The damage was intended. Not proven. Within hours. Though, the community fired back. Testimonials flooded social media. He helped my kids learn coding. He built our security system for free. He stood up when no one else would. The smear backfired. Now Kerr panicked. They're behind him. He muttered. Ellis was pale. What do we do? We rattle him. He'll make a mistake. But they underestimated him again. Jordan already had surveillance routes mapped. When they flagged his truck a second time, his dashboard camera streamed directly to a secure server. 2 community leaders, both witnesses, trailed him at a distance. The patrol cars fell in behind. Same demand. Out of the vehicle. Jordan complied. Calm. Collected. And then came the flash. Unmarked SUVs. Federal agents. And rolling cameras. Agent Clark stepped out. Sergeant Kerr. This ends now. Kerr tried to object. She handed him a warrant. A DOJ investigation. Multiple counts. Abuse of authority. Fraud. Jordan didn't smile. He just nodded. Next time, he said, believe people when they tell you who they are. The fallout was immediate. Kerr and Ellis were suspended. The city's DA opened an inquiry. Internal affairs scrambled. But it wasn't enough. Jordan and his team published everything. Operation Sentinel trended nationwide. City officials were named. Budget lines. Transfers. Emails all posted publicly. Whistleblowers came forward. A finance clerk. a former officer, even a council staffer. The case deepened. But the threats did too. Anonymous messages. Attempts to hack their servers. One night, an SUV followed Jordan home. Inside, two men stepped out, faces covered. Before they could speak, federal agents swarmed in. Clark had been watching. They're scared now, she said. I want them to be, Jordan replied. A month later, the DOJ filed conspiracy charges. Kerr flipped. Named names. The corruption web expanded council members, contractors, even the mayor's office. But Jordan wasn't done. He formed a task force community alliance for equity and oversight. Civilian-led. Transparent. And then came the real twist, whistleblower video of Kerr's confession. They told us who to stop, who not to charge, who to hit hardest. The city cracked wide open. Jordan refused an official title. He stayed independent. Eyes on the system. You changed everything. Marcy told him one night. No. He said. We did. At the first public oversight meeting, victims spoke. Officers who'd been silenced finally had a voice. Policies changed. Funding redirected. Training restructured. But the last message Jordan received was the one he remembered most. A handwritten letter. No return address. They underestimated me. 2. It read, You gave me courage. Thank you. Attached was a clipping from another state. Small-town chief indicted in civil rights probe. Jordan folded it slowly, then looked out at his city. Not perfect. Not finished. But finally awake.